Hey, welcome to my GT3 guide for Fuji on Le Mans Ultimate. We're driving the Ferrari 296 GT3 today, and there's my brake bias and traction control settings on screen if you'd like to copy those. Just bear in mind those settings are not going to be perfect. I just found a comfortable point and went with it for this lap. Okay, for the first turn we're looking out for where that grandstand is on the left of the track, braking about where that concrete wall begins and really hard on the brakes here on the left side of the track. We really want to get the car slowed right down so that we can focus on the exit, having a mid to late apex here and really aiming for a straighter exit line. We don't want to go out too far wide on exit because it'll cost us a little bit of time. You can cut this curb quite tight here and get over the green bit. Don't go too tight because it might unsettle the car a bit on exit. But at this point here, you shouldn't need to go out too far beyond the curb there. I find that the curb can kind of pull you just a little bit and pull you wide of this line right here and cost you a few hundredths of a second. Now for this turn here, there's this lighter patch of grass on the right of the track that I'm going to mark out right there, and also the 50 board sign. We're going to brake about halfway between these 2 points, all the way on the outside curb to open up our entry line, coming off the brakes turning in, and then we can cut over this green area to shorten our line as much as possible, but just make sure you don't get on throttle too early or don't carry too much speed through here. Very easy to run wide on exit. You'll want to carry momentum onto this outside curb here, but don't go too far out wide because the curb can kind of pull you out and trap you on that line, making this turn too tight. Plug the white line into this turn, looking out for that service road that we're just about to pass, and there's also a lighter patch of grass that I've marked down screen. So we're going to pass the service road, and there's the lighter patch of grass. Lifting off throttle, we don't need to brake unless you carry a bit too much speed in. You might need to touch the brake. And then we're aiming to apex at this concrete on the inside of the track right there where we've got the green arrow, and then bring the car back to the right after the turn to line up for the braking zone. Looking for that 50 board, that's our braking reference, braking just at or slightly after we get to that 50 board there. We're aiming to apex at the inside curb here. Try not to cut too much over the red area because that can slightly unsettle the car, maybe ruining your exit. On exit, accelerating about where the apex is here, and then really carrying our speed out, using all the track here, but not getting onto that outside curb because it can slightly pull you out, maybe cost you a little bit of time. So try keep within the curb, but using all the track that we can here. Then through this long right bend, we're just keeping close to the inside to shorten our line as much as possible, keeping our steering input smooth, and into the outside of the track. This is where the track becomes a little bit different from the normal layout. We're looking out for that service road on the right side of the track there, braking about alongside there on the outside curb to open up our entry line, then coming off the brakes to allow the car to turn, and we can slightly cut our right side wheels over the red bit here to shorten our line. It can hop the car up a wee bit, and it does kind of push me out to the grass here. If you get that line perfect, you can really carry some nice speed through here. It's not the end of the world if you touch the grass here. You can get away with it, just try not to get out there too far. Now here the braking reference is that white line on the outside of the track, and we're braking about alongside that, not getting on the brakes for too long, coming off the brakes to allow the car to turn in, and then we can either cut over that green bit or just use the inside curb. Cutting the green bit can slightly shorten your line, but it also makes the car a little bit more floaty. You'll need to balance your steering and throttle inputs on exit there to avoid oversteering. Then on exit here, you can carry your speed all the way to this left curb here, even a little bit onto the green area. Then at the end of this curb is going to be our braking reference, and we're starting to brake just after the end of the curb. Here you're braking and turning. You don't want to brake too hard, but carry your momentum to the outside of the track, opening up an entry line for this turn here. We're aiming for a very late apex. You don't want to cut that green area. It bounces you up on exit, and if you make the turn too tight for yourself, it's just going to ruin your exit speed. So late apex, make it as straight as you can. On exit, you can carry all your momentum out to this outside curb, even your right side wheels onto the green area, then back to the left. Once again, we're looking out for that service road on the right, but we are braking deeper into the turn, so it can be quite difficult to spot your exact braking point here. Into the turn with quite a wide entry line, and we're aiming once again for a very late apex to straighten your exit line as much as possible and carry as much speed as you can onto the straight. Don't cut that curb too much there on the inside. You don't want to flick yourself into any kind of oversteer. It was a bit of a sloppy last turn for me there. I was sliding all over the show. But anyway, you can carry your momentum out to the green area on the left there, just like I did there. But if you have a straighter exit, you might not need to go as wide. The last section of this track is always going to be the most challenging with the elevation changes. You're going to have to be balancing your throttle and steering inputs to avoid oversteer and also understeer. We go across the line and it's a 1:35.6 on this lap. I'm going to play through the whole thing again without any interruptions, and then I'll come back at the end of the lap for a pit entry guide. So I'll see you then. And now for the pit entry of Fuji. You'll find this white line that goes through the middle of the track right here. We're going to come to the right of it, but come very close to it to slightly open up an entry line for when we turn in. There's a building on the right of the fence there. We can use that as a braking reference, braking a couple car lengths before actually getting alongside that building. Braking quite hard here, then coming off the brakes as we turn in here. And right here, do not touch that white line. If you touch that white line at all, you'll get a cut warning. So come around that white line if you can. And then back on throttle just a little bit. And then as we get to that white line that goes across the pit lane right there, getting hard on the brakes, bringing it down to 60 k's per hour. And then we should be fine by the line. That's all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video or have any questions. I'll see you again in the next video.